Listener discretion is advised.
It's time for another Steel Revolution podcast. Please keep in mind that the opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the individuals, and they do not reflect any official view of the United Steelworkers, USW Local 105, or its officers or sub-board members for officers. Now, from the banks of the mighty Mississippi River, this is Steel Revolution.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Mike.
We're going now. Jesus. And there's not...
Activate princess powers. You've been nothing but nice to me all day.
Yeah,
Is
nothing
that
but
what you
nice.
gonna say?
Nothing but
That's two swears right away.
Yeah.
Do you expect any
The tip jar, Shawn.
Yeah.
You're just making more work for Shawn.
He needs something to do.
Lepley will now be happy.
Yeah. Kids are gonna be in
Like
the
his
car.
kids don't already
Right,
know that.
Kids are gonna be in the car saying,
Yeah.
What's that guy saying?
yeah.
That's my
Who's
kid
that Mike guy?
impersonation.
He's so nasty.
Man, you gotta
Nothing but
work on
nice.
that.
He's
You gotta work-
nasty.
You gotta work on that kid voice.
Professional DJ?
Let's make some good decisions and start Steel Revolution 107.
107.
Wow.
At least that's what I got. I was missing a few outlines when I was in Pittsburgh, but that's to the best of my knowledge, it's 107.
Looks official.
Well, thanks, Lee. I'm Roy Hutt.
Mike Nicholas.
Shawn Geisens.
Lee Schaefer.
All right, that's who we are, and why we do this is to inform, engage, and educate our membership and anybody else who's listening. Shawn says there's a few extra salary listeners today.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry, we won't name your name, just
I'm-
so you can save your job.
I'm sure there are.
But if we don't think you're doing a good job, we'll out you right here. Say you're a listener. I don't know what'll happen to you. So we thought it would be best to do a contract recap, go over some things, address some issues or some statements that have been made, and anyway, get some things out there again to educate the membership.
Yep.
So, a reminder that master negotiations was set up with 3 tables: benefits, safety, and language. So at least one person on the bargaining committee, if not 2 or multiple, was on each of those tables. And you start out meeting, and then there's also the top table. So you really want to get as much as you can get done at your table before everything's kind of up at the top table, and they're talking the economics of the contract. So you don't want some stuff that you can get settled at those tables to go up to the top and be thrown in with other issues. You want to settle as much as you can down there. So again, that's how it was set up. We also had to meet for local issues after those groups all met. Usually you'd start in the morning, you'd have a kickoff with a union only meeting, and then you'd just head down and do probably, I think, safety most of the time
Safety,
was first,
yep.
then benefits, and then
Language.
after lunch was language, and then you may meet again, or you're doing work, and then of course we had locals to do after all that. So that's kind of give you guys an idea of that. At the end of negotiations, it's usually just the top table. Most of the other tables are done, and a lot of people has come up to us. Well, in the morning you were far apart, and that was true. We had a podcast from the presidents, and it was far apart. Between then and later into the night, things moved fast, and we ended up getting to where we ended up, and ended up bringing back to the membership.
Yeah, and understand, instead of meeting, 1 or 2 times in that day with the top table, they met 5 or 6 times. So things could move quite a bit, between, what'd you say, like 9 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock at night. Things could move quite a bit when you're meeting 5, 6 times. So.
Right, and you remind me, Mike, that a lot of people had said, well, you took the first proposal. There were probably 4 or 5 proposals alone in that day.
Correct.
between company and union, or even almost one-sided.
Yep.
So you could be up to almost 10, but that was not the first proposal.
No.
You know, again, you got down to the end, there was nothing more that was going to be done at that point in time. You know, the membership across, I believe, all locations, it was pretty clear. No extension.
Yep.
Period. No extension. At that point in time, listening to the membership, doing what they wanted. It is either you're going out on strike or you're bringing something back for the membership to vote on and look at. So nobody there is going to want to say, yep, we're going to go out without the membership seeing it, because people's going to say, you took away my livelihood. I don't even know why. I don't know why we're out here. We visit a lot of picket lines, and the one thing that drives me crazy when we show up is people not knowing why they're out there.
Yep.
You know, how can you be out there on the line and you not know what's going on? So the right thing to do is to let the membership have their say. And they did. And while the majority here voted it down across the patch, it was 60-40 in favor. So the decision to bring it back seems to be a good one, because the majority wanted what was brought back. Now, if you're on the other side, you may not like it, but at the end of the day, the membership had the choice, which is, I think, what you really want.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right.
Everyone has a vote.
You know, it's...
And had we not brought it back, then we'd have heard from that other side. You know, why didn't you bring it back? You should have brought it back. We should have been able to look at this. So I think it was the right decision. Like you said, you know, it came back. The majority voted for it. So now we've got to move on.
Yeah, I mean, it's everybody had their vote. You know, whether you voted yes or whether you voted no, that was your decision. I don't blame anybody for how they voted. You know, your voice was heard. It's no different than any sort of election for president. You've got people out there on either side, but you know, it is what it is. You move on.
Yep.
The one thing I'll say about that is I was impressed with the 83% of the people that voted.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the most I've ever seen vote for any election down here. So I'm glad people came out. They got their voice heard. So
Yeah, very good participation in that part. The other point, I would say, you know, as soon as we tried to communicate information, or as soon as we did communicate information through Facebook, Mike, a long time ago, I know me and you have talked, and we put in some measures in place to try to curtail the comments. And the reason it was put in there was, one, we didn't want people going back and forth and bickering over politics and other things. When we post something that maybe has something to do with a local business, we don't want something getting out there that puts anybody in a bad light, or bickering or fighting. So we ended up doing that.
yep.
People really don't comment a whole lot then on our Facebook page, but after that, people wanted to comment, and people said, you know, why are you censoring us, or recently, what are you afraid of? And I will say, you know, what am I afraid of? I'm afraid of reckless comments that could cost us investments at the plant, possibly,
Yep.
which costs us jobs, which then won't be there for our friends or our community, which I've seen through other people sharing stuff or pictures, that there is comments like that was floating around. So, you know, we don't want the public or higher ups in the company to see that.
Well, and look, what it really comes down to is talking with local union services that are international. They recommended to do some sort of filtering on the comments, simply because they've had locals get sued for libel. Because of a comment that one of their members have made, they got sued. They lost a ton of money. So ultimately, that was the decision that was made, to filter the comments so that doesn't happen to us, to the member, to anybody.
And furthermore, what was shown through other social media was, there is two sides to this issue. There was two sides to this contract, and while if we want to have that out here down at the hall, which we did during some of our informational meetings, that's fine. But that does not need to be aired out into the public, and we need to keep stuff in-house. So there's another reason why, we decided to not let the comments go on our Facebook page. And again, we post a lot and do a lot with the community, whether it's businesses or doing our charity work, and we don't need other comments in that or in that post. So again, wanted that. I know that was a big topic of discussion, and like we said, on some other pages there's supervisors and people on the company, and they're taking notice. Sometimes you gotta protect people from themselves and from comments that other people make. So again, that's why that decision was made, and we're going to continue to stand by that. You can message us, you can come down to the hall, you can call the hall, grab us when we're out at the plant. There's plenty of ways to get a hold of us.
Yep.
To go along with that, and to kind of bring back one more thing, I was going to say, people threw out comments on, hey, I wonder what everybody got for kickbacks. Nobody got any kickbacks, or there was no wrongdoing happening during contract. And I'm going to tell you this: if you're just a keyboard warrior and you threw that out, that's not a good thing to do. Not appropriate. At the same time, if you got something, I would expect somebody to turn. You think it was me? Turn me into the Department of Labor. If not, I mean that's the right thing to do.
Or file charges with the union. You have multiple avenues if you think something was done wrong.
And if you don't, to my knowledge, nothing's been done. You were just being a keyboard warrior with no facts or a baseless statement. To go along with that, there was questions about our tellers' integrity. These guys volunteer to do that job and to be a teller. They were voted on, the tellers, for the contract ratification and for delegates to the International Convention by this membership in what, another good one, the biggest member turnout for business meetings, which was May. Those guys were duly voted in by the membership. Not a single no vote for those people. That process is scrutinized by every teller there. They do a fantastic job, and there is no call to question their integrity. And again,
Agreed.
If there is something factual, that there is facts and basis, then you need to turn it in. Turn it into your local union, turn it into the International Union, turn it into the Department of Labor. If you don't, again, it's basis, and you shouldn't be saying that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's one that really bothers me, that, like you said, they do work hard, and I mean, it's not everyone's knocking down the door to come do that job. So,
No.
And they were voted in, like you said, Roy, and just we need to appreciate the people that do work like that, not tear them down.
Exactly. So some other stuff to wrap around, some questions we've had or calls we've had at the hall or here at the business meetings. The orthodontics improvements, so the going from, is it 1,500 to 2,500?
Yeah.
Okay, that kicks in January 1. If you currently have, what I'm unsure of, and this is to inform, and I'll be honest with what I know and don't know. I don't know if you currently have them, and like you started this year, if you keep on having them throughout next year, can you turn that back in?
So
you look like Mike.
My daughter currently has them, and I have asked that question. So I don't have an answer yet, but I have asked that question. I believe if the process is ongoing, she'll get that extra $1,000. So, and so does her orthodontist. So I guess we'll see January 1 if we get an extra $1,000 on it.
All right, yeah, that's what I was going to say. At least turn it back in.
Yes.
Absolutely. Have your kids or your orthodontist turn that stuff back in.
Yep.
So what you're saying is trying to get information is like pulling teeth.
There it is.
Crickets.
No. Nope, not right now.
Roy's looking for the button.
Nope, that's not crickets. That's
Brad, are you ready?
no,
ready,
you,
Roy.
you hit right one. Thank you.
That was the wrong one.
No, that was the right one.
Good try, Roy. It's okay, thanks.
Sorry if I pressed your button, Shawn.
That was good.
Wow.
Hey, you didn't like that, Shawn?
No, that's not funny. Nope, I turned it off. Yeah,
Oh,
that's what you get.
there it is.
I found it.
Yeah, you found it.
Words in.
So yeah, there you go. Something's still playing over here. What the heck's going on? You stop touching my stuff, Roy. Gosh. All right.
Keeping it professional.
Right, yeah.
Could throw the whole show in a tailspin right now.
Yeah.
He could have very easily.
All right, so where do we leave off? The expanded dental network, however, did start June 1.
Yes.
The changes, or the slight changes in the prescription drugs, like having to get your maintenance drugs mail ordered, is January 1. Again, if you're looking at your summaries, if something's a June 1 change, it most likely will say so. And if it doesn't, it's most likely a January 1 change.
And if you have a question, call.
All right, moving on to local issue recap. I will just say, Mike, you've been at a few more local issues than I have. Would say it was hard bargaining.
Oh, this time it was absolutely hard bargaining. Probably the most I've seen. So
anyway, that our local issues went down to the last, was it 4 days?
yeah, the last 4 days.
So
yeah.
we only finished up 4 days before expiration. A lot of the other locals already had them done. I would say that would be my goal. We work on stuff more during or in between contracts than, and hopefully we get some stuff done by working more on issues beforehand. Then we don't have to take as many because
Correct.
it was too many.
It was brutal. Yeah.
Did have questions, or I seem to continue to have some questions around the new ETO agreement, and I think it's important. Help me out, guys, with trying to explain this, but I look at the pay piece of that is totally separate than the normal what we had before.
Correct.
So normal what you had before, you earn your ETOs, you use them, whatever. That stays the same. Everything's the same. So now we move over to the pay piece. So every ETO you earn for 2023 is worth $50, which is then paid to you. Again, using them, not using them, whatever, separate. Don't even
Doesn't even
calculate
matter.
that in
It doesn't
with the
matter
money.
whether you use them or not.
You're right. It doesn't matter. So in January of 2024, man, it seems like a long ways
Yes,
away.
it does.
You will get paid out for all the ones you earn in 2023, which could be a grand total if you don't have any unexcused absences and have your hours worked of $400.
Correct.
Correct.
You explained it right.
So I know everybody's still getting used to it. If you still have questions, try to contact your steward, your committeeman, bargaining rep. We can make sure you understand what's happening there. And then the criteria to determine whether or not we keep this process will be decided sometime in January of next year. And based on 2022 attendance, whatever we do, or whatever is decided upon on that group, whatever metrics will determine whether or not it's kept past 2023.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
There you go.
It's
Yeah.
hard to think of all the dates. It seems like a long
It
ways
is.
away.
It does.
All right, and we've had some issues with the self swaps and the plant-wide self-swap trade agreement. We are working on finalizing that agreement. So hopefully early next week, that agreement will be finalized and we'll be ready to go live for the following week.
Correct.
Again, we say things on here and we say it to inform the members. And some things I would say, especially a few years ago, this would be very uncomfortable information to share. We posted some of this on Facebook. And most of the time, whatever we put on Facebook will be on another platform for those that don't have it. But next on my normal list for the outline would be the T-shirt distribution. So we put this number out on Facebook, and we can talk about the other points of this. But distribution for a free T-shirt that was made available 3 weeks in a row before and after every shift. 64% of the free T-shirts were picked up. So you look at that versus 82% voter turnout for one day. That wasn't even before or after every shift, and it's a pretty big difference for something that was free. Surveys was less than 10%.
Surveys are mailed to the house as well.
Well, no, wait.
Self-addressed stamped envelope.
Yep, less than 25%.
Let's say 25%.
Responded to the survey. Oh, on the survey, less than 10% said they would attend 4 of the solidarity events. So again, I mean, this is, it is meant to inform the membership. Unfortunately, we're informing anybody that's listening to this, and the engagement at a lot of things, except for the contract ratification vote, was very low. It's something that we are committed as your bargaining reps between now and next contract to improve that engagement and to improve the education, because I think there's a lot of things people don't understand about the inner workings of bargaining and what your bargaining reps are doing and what the laws are. That's what we're going to be working on, so we're in a better spot come next contract. To go along with that, I'm just going to say we had our vote for delegates to the International Convention. Thank you to everybody that showed up for that vote. Voting times was around every business meeting, so it could hit every shift. We'll say if I can do it, we'll change the times we do it next time. But this time it was made available for everybody before and after their shift, and only 129 people voted. Again, another low turnout. So, again, we're going to be trying to figure out ways to up that engagement.
Yep.
Also during contract, we say it every contract, but make sure you're ready. Make sure you're contacting your banks. Make sure you've got a fallback plan for health insurance. Make sure you're saving money. I know a lot of people were upset. This got voted down here. Yeah. There's a lot of people that wanted to go out. This contract didn't live up to what they thought it would be. Ultimately, a lot of people say, well, it never should have been brought back. I would say it needed to be brought back for the membership to decide. It's your decision. It's the whole membership's decision. It's not 5 people's decision.
Correct.
Right.
So, but to go along with that, afterwards, there was a lot of people that said, I live paycheck to paycheck, but I wanted to go out. It's like, okay, but you weren't ready if you make that statement. And furthermore, if you're out and you're living paycheck to paycheck, what happens if something happens to you? What happens if you have a spouse at home that has cancer, or you got a kid that just got injured or that's sick and they're in the hospital? You're not going to have health care when you go out on strike either. I do not believe for 1 minute that Arconic would step up like Deere did and say, we're going to pay for your health care while you're striking.
No way.
I think Deere cares more about their image in this community and others, and they felt pressure and would do it. I do not believe for 1 minute Arconic would do it.
Agreed.
And I think if everybody answered that honest that's listening to this that works out there, they know the same thing.
Yeah.
So these are all things you got to ask yourself, and again, to be ready for next time. And again, it's meant to educate people. I believe there were a lot of people that didn't realize they lost their health insurance when they went out on strike, because we had those comments. What do you mean? It's like you lose it.
It's over.
It's done. You lose your paycheck. You lose your health care. So did I miss anything
I don't think so.
from contract? Those were kind of the heavy hitters. Again, we will monitor the questions we receive through either calls down to the hall, messages we receive through emails and Facebook Messenger, and we'll try to address them issues and any other misinformation that's out there. Our members can depend on what we put out in our Forerunner, this podcast, Facebook page to be accurate. When I say accurate, I'm going to say accurate to the best of our knowledge, because we have said stuff that the company has told us, hey, your retro pay for the raise is not going to be on your January 10th check. It's going to be June 10th. It's going to be on your June 17th check, and then that ends up not happening. So to the best of our ability with the information we got, we will give you accurate information. And you can depend on us to do that. Other people that make comments or just statements, or that's not a union official, they may be true, they may not be.
If there's a question, call and ask.
I'd like to just add something on the engagement part. I'm hoping with the amount of turnout that came out for the vote, and I don't want to say some of the people that were not happy, I'd encourage, if you're not happy, try to become involved and try to make a difference through becoming involved. We have different groups. We're going to be meeting here in July, and then kind of kicking them off again, whether it's Next Gen, whether it's Women of Steel, or Civil and Human Rights. Become involved through those groups. We do learn a lot of things through those groups, and that could be one way that you learn some things. So we definitely need more engagement. I was back here getting everything set up, and it was, we had a lot less turnout this contract than we did last contract. We really peaked last contract, where it was a huge turnout for the rally and all, and this time, I'm not saying there wasn't people out there was people out there, but it just wasn't near as big. And I don't know if that's because of the big influx of new hires we had, or if I guess I don't know what the real reason is. So I just hope people become involved to try to capture some of them issues and try to fix them.
Yeah, and you said become involved, and what I would say too is, become involved if you got something you're passionate about. Autism, for one thing.
Yeah.
We've had members that were very passionate for autism charities, and they come down here and they're like, hey, what can I do? Well, they hooked up with the Next Gen group. Yep. Pulled some stuff together, got the hall, that's where the poker tournament came
Yep.
from. So, if you've got something like that, use the power or the connections of your local union or your union to get done some good.
Yep.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's good for the union, good for your charity, you
Yep.
know. So, use that. And yeah, thanks, Lee.
Thanks, Lee.
Unless we forget something and circle back around, moving on to other business, a reminder that the office manager's hours are 6:30 to 2:30 Monday through Friday. He is your go-to resource for retirement questions and issues.
But make sure you call, make an appointment if you can, because he's busy doing some other things sometimes.
I know we had this update on Facebook, but a reminder, in the Civil and Human Rights Bingo fundraiser raised over $500, and we will be looking at doing more bingo events during the colder months. I believe the backpack drive, school supply drive is going to be in August that we are supporting, or that committee is supporting. And then another reminder, Constitutional Convention, like I mentioned earlier, vote was on Tuesday at the business meetings. Tellers stayed around till about 1 in the morning, making sure they counted those votes and they were accurate. So another thank you to those tellers. Results, the following people will be joining. President Pat Stock out for that convention. Rob Reed, Tim Miller, Robert, Bart, Bartholomew, Genaro Gomez, Lee Schaefer, and Roy Hutt. I have not heard recently any safety glasses or boot issues. We'll say we did get support from the medical department. So when we had a provider place where you go and get those safety glasses, that it didn't seem like they had a big selection. Our contact in the medical department reached out to them and in Hoya, and they were saying, well, we need to update our selection. So it seems like that has been going good. I haven't really heard of the boot issues.
We're working on it right now. We actually discussed it, and they gave us the ability to come back and discuss the boot selection. That seems to be the problem here, at least at our location. So we are going to be discussing, hopefully adding Red Wing, if not getting our vendor to add more selections. So,
Thanks, Mike.
sure.
Numerous payroll issues. I don't know where to begin. Don't know where to end. If you see something, call the hall. It's right now the main issue we know about that I think is not corrected is dues issues where a light decided not to take union dues out of checks. So we're still waiting to hear the final number and what that number means to each individual member here, and then we're looking at pursuing a grievance after that, and we'll keep you guys updated on that. But it is ridiculous. If any of us had this poor performance, we'd be looking for another job.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say too. We talk about Dan, how well he is a go-to guy in a lot of things, and you just can't thank Dan enough for really a lot of questions we have with payroll issues that Dan's able to help.
he helps out a lot.
Yeah.
I'll help you out there, Lee. You're a little distracted.
No.
Got some unprofessional people in here.
Yeah. They are very unprofessional.
Yep. Now he finds the buttons.
That's good.
Just try to say thank you to someone, and that's what you get.
No, I mean, exactly. I mean, there wasn't a lot of people that applied for this job, for starters, to be the office secretary here, but you couldn't find somebody with the amount of knowledge Dan has with payroll and the company.
Yeah.
Scholarships were brought up to me after one of the business meetings, and a list of scholarships ran in this week's Forerunner. So if you're looking for union scholarships or the Arconic one, the Nathaniel Payne scholarship, those scholarships, their requirements and the dates are all in this week's Forerunner. Reminder: the Union Golf Tournament is August 11th. Teams are to show up at 8. Shotgun start at 8:30 a.m. $200 entry fee, and entry fees and registrations need to be in to the hall by 8/3/2022. Restroom cleanliness has been an issue
Slightly.
at the plant, not down here.
No.
No. I thought you'd have a clever pun.
No, sorry. No.
Like a cool air check or something. Do. That was it a Hanson song? Was that Hanson? Bop.
No, it's Third Eye Blind. Right?
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah, I think you're right.
I know I am.
Was that in Iowa or Missouri when that occurred?
Missouri.
It was? Okay.
I'll edit this out.
Anyway, we have turned in various pictures. The company has held ABM accountable to live up to their end of the contract. So we'll see what kind of progress we make. If you have issues with the restrooms, best thing to do is to try to get pictures through your committeemen somehow. or straight to your bargaining reps. Just send us pictures. We do not want any people in these pictures in the restroom, but if you can give us those, give us a location, day and time, we'll forward them on to the company to hold the third-party contractor hold them accountable. Thanks, Lee. Because some people
Saw you
help out.
struggling, yeah.
Some people help out.
Yeah. Some people aren't nice.
Nope.
And some people are nothing but nice.
Even though they say their name is Mr. Nice.
Right.
Mr. Nice Nicholas.
It's almost painful to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
But true.
It's so untrue. It's hard to say.
Right.
Mike's nothing but nice to me.
Thank you, Shawn.
You're most welcome. Oh, no.
Talk about unprofessional.
So, looking forward to next podcast. We'll be looking at...
I can't wait.
Bringing on Pete Hurd, Secretary Treasurer of the Iowa Federation of Labor, to talk about some new laws going into effect July 1st in Iowa, including, surprise, surprise, limiting unemployment insurance.
The hits just keep coming.
Elections have consequences.
Yes, they do.
You are right.
Let's see. I already talked about new salary listeners. We won't name names yet.
Yep.
Be scared for your job if that got out. Hey, Shawn.
Uh-oh.
Oh, now you want to be my friend. All right, what's up?
I try to include you in the podcast.
Thank you, I think.
I could have said, hey, Mr. Nice.
Right.
You could have.
Where can people
I
find
could
us?
have answered that.
But I try to give you some airtime, Shawn.
I got plenty of that.
So you're just not in the background, feel like you're forgotten.
Oh, I'm not. Because I can do this. When you're talking all the way through.
Well, can you tell people where to find us too, Shawn?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Okay.
How do you come back from...
What's that?
Nothing. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
Well, I thought he was serious.
No. Me serious? No.
Mr. Serious. You have Mr. Nice.
Mr. Nice, Mr. Serious.
Yeah.
Mr. Donut.
Mr. Serious pun.
Yeah.
Nothing but nice to
All right. They can find us on our Facebook page at Steel Revolution Podcast, USW, Logo 105. Our iPhone, iPad app, also known as the Apple Podcasts. Podcast Addict for Android devices, the Android app, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio app, Spotify app, YouTube channel, Odyssey app, Libsyn.com, the Locals website, and of course the men's restroom here at Local 105 on Devil's Glen Road in Bettendorf.
We still have plenty of pint glasses.
Yes, we do.
So if you need one, please come down and get one. And I heard, again, I hear things. I'm not a part of some social media, but I heard there was a question on like where our stuff is made or whether or not it's union made. Everything that is sold or bought down here for resale is 100% union made.
And
Or printed.
made in the United States.
Yeah.
100%. Guaranteed.
Thanks, Shawn.
Yeah.
If you find something else, I would really like to know.
Yep, I agree.
All right. That does it for 107. We'll get back to our little bit of our normal setup or outline with a guest here next time, whenever that may be. We have to make sure our tech guy is going to be around.
Well, it does help when I'm around. Unless you guys want to learn how to do this.
You wouldn't train us if we asked.
That's true. Job security.
Exactly.
You have decades of experience. How would I learn
Well,
that? And
If
Yeah.
anybody wants to know how to shut down job shadowing, go talk to Shawn.
He's good.
We've been doing this for how many years? Hey, Shawn, we need to train somebody. Nope.
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 After this, I would do a tutorial on how to do this, all right?
Well, it's too late in the day for that.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny, though, right?
And don't forget to say something good about your union.
Every day. See ya.
Steel Revolution is a podcast by USW Local 105, Bettendorf, Iowa.